I'm Scott Millar. I'm with Grow Smart Rhode Island. I was also a member of the stakeholder group that put this bill together. We support many aspects of the bill, and I gave you my written testimony that gets into those details. But at this point, we can't support the bill as it's currently written. Our primary concern is that the good news is that the bill identifies areas of environmental concern. The bad news is that there's no meaningful protection of these areas. It would still allow a 4 megawatt solar development, which could be a development footprint of 20 acres or more. In many cases, that would totally destroy the important resource that we're trying to protect. So we see no protection whatsoever. Moreover, the towns would have the ability to waive any protection. So essentially, developers could do anything that they wished in these proposed areas of environmental concern, which we find really unacceptable. It's Grow Smart's position, and an amendment that we'd respectfully like to propose, that the state remove any and all renewable energy economic incentives for development of ground-based solar in the areas of environmental concern. We think that is a very balanced approach to take because we believe that even removing these areas of environmental concern from consideration for solar, the state still has ample land left to meet its renewable energy goals. I did some quick and dirty calculations using GIS information. If we subtract all the areas of environmental concern, that's about 28% of the state. If we also subtract all the areas that the state has already protected as open space, and if we also subtract all the land that's currently been developed, we would still have 145,000 acres of undeveloped land that would be available and could be suitable to support solar development. If we use just half of that 145,000 acres, we clearly have sufficient land to meet Rhode Island's renewable energy needs without sacrificing our areas of environmental concern. And a key point I want to make is that you probably are aware that Rhode Island is a member of the U.S. Climate Alliance. It's a bipartisan coalition of 23 governors committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions consistent with the goals of the Paris Agreement. The Climate Alliance now feels that meeting the goals of the Paris Agreement now require the extraction of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to remove more carbon than we are emitting and store it long term. That's the only way we're going to really prevent climate change. Keep in mind, the forest is really the only proven technique that can practically absorb and store carbon. Solar panels and wind turbines can't absorb or store carbon from the atmosphere. Our forests, if we can just prevent them from being cut down for renewable energy, have the ability right now to mitigate the greenhouse gas emissions of approximately 400,000 cars annually. In my opinion, Rhode Island needs to achieve really two objectives simultaneously. Of course, we need to go forward and build renewable energy as quickly as possible. But in doing that, we also have to prevent the clear cutting of our forests. If we can achieve those two objectives, and Rhode Island can be a national leader in addressing climate change. And we can also preserve our areas of environmental concern for many future generations to enjoy. Thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Friday.